So there, it's the biggest day of the Premier League season so far, but that's enough about Sunday. Today wasn't half bad either. 7 games on the way. Here's 2 faces to warm any heart on a cold night. Jenas and Philip Neville. It's been a testing few weeks for Spurs, who've taken just 2 points from 4 games. They face Stoke, whose last visit to Wembley was the cup final defeat against Manchester City back in 2011. Your commentator is Steve Barr.
Maurizio, well done. What pleased you the most today?
Well, I think today the performance was very good, very great performance for the team. No, it's not easy to score 5 goals. I think we create more chance to score, and I think we play very well.
We allowed 2 quick-fire goals through situations which really were of our own making. Obviously, if you open up too much against the top teams, then they have the ability to hurt you, and we've found that to our cost on a number of occasions this year.
We felt confident. Of course, coming off the back of a few bad results, we was always going to try so hopefully we can continue this form.
Well, it usually is against Stoke. Here's a stat for you. Tottenham became the first team to beat the same team by 4 goals or more in 4 consecutive games, not just in Premier League history, but in top-flight history. And I think probably not for the first time in those games. A lot of it was down to Son and Kane.
It really was. Look, I thought Stoke were really poor today. They were passengers a lot of the time. And in the first half, actually, it took Spurs a while to get going. But it was Kane and Son that were at the forefront of that. They were the catalysts today for Spurs. They seemed to have the bit between the teeth. Son down this kind of left-hand side, constantly wanting the ball, driving at his defenders, making things happen. Yes, they get a huge stroke of luck with the own goal from Shawcross. But it continued to happen. The amount of times he's asking questions of them, he loved these 1v1 situations, taking the ball to the byline, trying to get the ball in for his strike partner, Harry Kane. On that occasion, didn't pick him out. On this occasion, he did. It's a beautiful cross into him. Just got caught off on that occasion. And this is a beautiful ball into Harry, and that's what you call a collector's item, because he doesn't miss too many of those, I have to say. But anytime, this is the one occasion, I'd say, Dele managed to pick up a little bit of space. Look at the run from Son, the desire to get into that position. And at this point, he's just so confident. He's sticks it into the back of the net, and that's 2-0. And then, I mean, Harry Kane for me today was probably more energetic, more mobile, I think, since his injury than I've seen him in a while. I love that header. Great. So dominant and demanding. And that touch and crossfield pass is as good as you're going to get. The confidence was oozing through the team in the second half, and it was Son and Kane that were at the forefront of that. As in, that's just food and drink to him now. It just really
made it look very easy.
He makes that type of finish look very easy, and it's not. And between the both of them, I thought they were sensational this afternoon.
I mean, look at that stat there: 50 goals in 48 games for club and country this year. That's quite a staggering tally.
It's you know, it's world-class goal scoring.
Yeah, it certainly is. As for Stoke, you said you thought they were really poor today. A lot of the defending was pretty abject, wasn't it, Phil?
Yeah, I think when you associate with Stoke is a team that's well organised, but today they were absolutely shambolic. I mean, that is from a corner from Shaqiri. Just look at the Spurs players. 5 Spurs players break from the corner in a defensive position. No Stoke players getting back. Spurs players bombing forward. It's left with Fletcher and Peters to cope with that. Butland manages to save it. This is the second goal. Spurs win the first header. Fletcher goes really tight to Harry Winks. There's space in midfield. But I do not know what Zuma and Shawcross are doing here. When there's time on the ball, you've got to deepen. Shawcross goes into midfield. Edwards doesn't stay with the run. Zuma is caught in absolute no man's land, and Son puts it away. This is directly from that goal. The ball goes back to Jack Butland. You're talking about players taking responsibility now. Butland gets the ball. Where's the help? Where's Zuma? Where's Shawcross? They're hiding. They're not taking responsibility at all. Kane does really well to dispossess Butland. He gets a little bit lucky, but then from the resulting corner, you want your defenders to go and head the ball. Stoke over the years have been absolutely impossible to score against. Not today. This was again from a corner kick. Joe Allen's on the edge of the box there with Eriksson, eventually who scores the goal. And Geoff, as Spurs break, I'm just thinking, he's on the edge of the box, he's got to get back. He can't be bothered to get back. He doesn't even try an effort. And look at the Spurs. Joe Allen, who's got to stay with the run of Eriksson. Peters is back there as well. There's no marking, and it was just far too easy. And they've conceded the most goals in the league this year with 35. And it's a massive worry for Stoke and for Mark Hughes.
Certainly is. To the London Stadium next, where struggling West Ham, who'd gone 8 games without a win, hosted Chelsea. The champions kicked off in third, 11 points behind Manchester City. Commentary comes from Jonathan Pearce.
West Ham are more disciplined and fitter under David Moyes, but they still haven't won in 8 league games and have just 2 victories in their last 22 Premier clashes with Chelsea. But the visitors did endure a tough challenge. This could be interesting. As expected, Adrian after impressing at Manchester City when Joe Hart was ineligible. He's technically dropped them for the first time. Mark Noble's back after 5 weeks to lead the side. Winston Reid is fit again and Arnautovic restored to the starting lineup. Eden Hazard with 5 goals in 8 games holds the key to the game as Chelsea named 10 of the side that drew at Atletico Madrid on Tuesday. Only Marcos Alonso was rested. So will jaded legs...
With the ball a couple of times in the second half, I think we might have got another goal. I saw a bit of tiredness of my players, and especially in the final decision, in the last pass, we did a lot of mistakes.
You saw what it meant for you when you jumped in with the crowd. I know it's a yellow card these days, but you saw that relief.
I didn't know, to be honest. I told the referee I didn't know it's a yellow card, but I forgot everything. I just want to celebrate with them because they deserve, and I want to give them kind of back.
Well, I thought the supporters showed during the game that West Ham are hopefully on their way back. I think they're appreciating putting in, and I think they've played, and then supporters will cheer them.
Is it possible to still win the title from where you are now?
I think that we have to go and to play game by game and to look at ourselves. Don't forget that it is very difficult. And there is the situation. 6 top teams, 4 go to the Champions League and 2 go to the Europa League. And we have to fight. We must pay great attention. We must be focused and to try to do our best.
Well, a huge victory for David Moyes and West Ham, and one player that Moyes has brought into the equation more since Bilic. And he seemed to make a difference as well. You liked his performance today.
Yeah, I did. He played left wing back, and I watched a lot of him last year playing left back, and I thought he gave away goals. He was an accident waiting to happen. This year under Bilic he hasn't featured much, but today he was the best player on the pitch. Showed qualities against City last week and today that I didn't think he had. His feet, his composure, his quality on the ball was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the way he just goes past players, dribbling from a left wing back position. I think his position is left back, but he likes to get forward so much. Look at the composure and the quality on the ball. How many times down that left-hand side today? He caused Zappacosta so many problems. And what it did, it allowed West Ham to get further up the pitch and put pressure on the Chelsea defence. Again, on the left-hand side, he won so many corners for West Ham, particularly in that first half when West Ham played really well. He's unorthodox, and when he gets the ball close to his feet, he's got brilliant feet in terms of getting past people and taking people on. Have that many opportunities because West Ham were really on the back foot, but when Victor Moses came on he still had the opportunities to get forward, and he's probably the most improved player over the last 4 games I've seen in a West Ham shirt.
West Ham's game plan, they had one, certainly midfield especially, and it worked.
Yeah, I thought Obiang and Noble were very disciplined today. You know, in midfield, to get a result against Chelsea, you've got to put in a shift, and I thought defensively West Ham were very strong, but the 2 in front of them also did a very good job helping them out. They were, well, together. He also, you know, blocked those passes into Hazard or into Morata, making sure that line of pass never really happened. They covered each other. If they got past Obiang, Noble was there to help out with strong tackles. This was Chelsea on the break when it was such an important tackle that he made there, Obiang, because Chelsea was starting to try and, not only for them, but obviously for their Moyes. And in terms of the effort and the intensity that they were putting in, I mean, today they had 3 players, West Ham, that ran further in today's game than they have done in any other game this season.
One's highlighted in yellow there.
Well, precisely, yeah. Well, this tells you just how probably much emphasis has been put on the fitness from David Moyes, but also, you know, this game particularly, I felt that they really needed it.
As for Chelsea, nothing like as consistent as last season. Conte said they looked a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they're playing more games this season.
Well, I mean, in terms of fixtures, they had it easy last year with no Champions League. He's talking too much about tiredness, about the fixture list. He's moaning about having the fixtures after the Champions League.
Do you think he's not making a point, though, perhaps?
He probably is about the size of his squad and that he didn't bring in the players that he wanted in the summer. But I think if your manager's talking about tiredness, it does affect your team, and I think he's just got to get on with it.
OK. Back-to-back victories have moved Leicester into the top half of the table. Opponents Newcastle hadn't won in 6 matches, picking up just 1 point along the way. Alistair Mann was at St James's Park.
It's fantastic, and I am amazing to see my player, and like the bench, they deserve this result, and now, of course, it's important to continue this work.
Obviously, when you cannot win games,
and the way that you concede for the confidence is quite difficult. But we have to keep going. We know that it's a long season, and then we have to try to improve things that we are not doing well at the moment.
3 wins in a row for Leicester. I think perhaps the one thing that gains a little bit is the flexibility of the 3 behind Jamie Vardy, that triumvirate, and they get a lot more freedom, it seems, to their game.
A lot more freedom. It's like they've been let off the leash, it really has. Demarai Gray finding himself in a central position here. We know how clever he is. He's very dangerous in front of goal as well. Just misses that one. This time, central position. O'Brien never fails to deliver on that right foot. Likes to get the ball in early. And they just mix, and kind of the fluidity in the way that they play was unstoppable at times today. They've got pace, they've got real power, and it was just opportunity after opportunity at times for Leicester. I like the fact that Mahrez likes to come deep, make things happen. This is his goal. You know, personally think he's got to do better there. The goalkeeper, Darlow's got to do much better. But the link-up between them is just brilliant. They're always like very close with each other, and that was obviously the second goal of the game. That's 7 goals in 7 games for Mahrez, Gray and O'Brien. They're just delivering. Yeah.
As for Newcastle, well, Alan Shearer's not here to give a rant, but it's not stopped him. We've found him on Twitter. There it is. Nowhere enough. Sell our club, Mr. Ashley, to someone who wants to be here before it's too late again.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is sell it before January, because if Newcastle don't strengthen in January, they'll get relegated, because that team has got championship quality, championship players, and they need to strengthen. They need to bring 4 or 5 players in, not just 1 or 2. 4 or 5 players of Premier League quality.
Yeah, I'm sure Rafa doesn't like that, and so need to know where he is and what he can get.
Yeah, the stability is helping nobody, and you know, you're thinking, have we got a bid at the moment? We'll accept it and let the club move forward.
Okay, 4 games still to come.
Into the chance to shoot here. Smith's under the ball now, and Tom Smith will shoot. Correa, good hit, smart save.
A run of 4 games unbeaten has seen Crystal Palace climb off the bottom of the table for the first time this season. But the visitors to Selhurst Park, they failed to win on their last 8 trips to London. Simon Brotherton was watching.
The youngest manager in the Premier League comes...
Tell us what happened as you...
Why Benteke had been told to take the penalty, and I was making it clear to him that Benteke hadn't been told to take the penalty. Benteke just got hold of the ball and decided to take the penalty.
Your thoughts on his decision?
Well, I think it's fairly obvious what my thoughts of the decision are. You know, we the management decide who the penalty takers are, and we don't really expect players during the course of the game to change those decisions. But unfortunately, we're not on the pitch.
I've only seen it live, and I'm backing my players to tell me the truth, and he's saying he got the ball.
Yeah, he says he got it. And what about the other penalty?
The other penalty, I think, is a very difficult one. I think you could argue both ways. Asmir, sort of the ball goes the player goes down, so I think that's a difficult one. Again, I haven't seen either, but I think we're hard done by, especially on the second one.
Just instinctive. You know, I made the running behind, and it sort of like bounced. I had a little glimpse at the goalkeeper, and I just thought if I can just sort of direct it back across the goal. I was even surprised when it went in. For some reason, you know, when you start scoring again, you always get that little bit of luck. Maybe I got that with the second goal.
As people will see tonight, if they're going to discuss this game in depth, Jeffrey Shook was held back and prevented from getting to Jermaine Defoe for the ball that was played into him. So, you know, we're furious about that, but I mean, unfortunately, bad decisions are part of a football match. We understand that. But I think if you just take the game as a whole, it was obviously very entertaining in the sense there were a lot of opportunities because they created some as well, but they didn't create anywhere near as many as we did.
Yes, indeed, Roy. Much to discuss, starting with 2 penalties, both won by Zaha. Do we think fairly or unfairly?
Well, I thought the first one, I don't think it's a penalty. I think Kevin Friend has got this one wrong. I can understand how difficult a decision it actually is, though. It goes both ways, this one. We have the ability to slow the decision down, and I think if you slow it down here, obviously, Begovic makes contact now, and at that point, Zaha is already on his way down. So it was a difficult one. I'm not saying he should have easily got it, but it was difficult.
Terrific penalty. This one?
This one was a penalty for me, and purely and simply because I don't think Charlie Daniels can go to ground there. He gets the foot of Wilfried Zaha first, then the ball, and I think Kevin Friend makes the right decision. This, for me, is an absolute disgrace. Milivojevic has already scored a penalty. Christian Benteke's not the greatest penalty taker. He's missed 3 out of 5. There's no in the world he should have took this. Milivojevic has got to be a little bit stronger and say, but he's broke protocol.
Even if Milivojevic does take it, he puts pressure on him by doing that. It's just unprofessional, isn't it?
If in the game and your centre forward hasn't scored, let's give him a penalty. But this is the last minute of the game for his team to maybe come out the bottom three. It's disgraceful from Benteke, a man of his experience, and it is the worst penalty. Look at James Tompkins there. He's fuming because he broke protocol. And that penalty, well, that is so poor. And he deserved it for his attitude and for his selfishness. And he'd let his teammates down, he's let his supporters down, and he's let his manager down.
Well, you can't say more than that. Roy not happy as well with the first goal scored by Bournemouth, Defoe's first. The second one was an absolute cracker, but the first one, he thought it was a foul. What do you think?
Well, it's two things, really. It was a foul, but it was also brilliant coaching from Eddie Howe. The way it was a training ground move, they'd worked it so well, and Defoe finished it brilliantly. But
it's a foul?
No, it is a foul, and we'll see it. Stanislaus goes out. When Stanislaus goes out, the two central defenders go into the box, Cook and Aki. Defoe comes round the corner, and the minute that Defoe comes round into to finish the goal, Josh King grabs hold of, rugby tackles Schlupp, and that is a foul. It's a poor decision from Kevin Friend, and it was lucky that Jermaine scored that goal.
But, I mean, as you said, sensational. It really is. You know, I mean, Scott Dan hasn't done much wrong there. You know, he's tracked the run of Jermaine Defoe into the corner, but the technical ability, the awareness to execute it. He actually strikes the volley with the inside of his foot to get that kind of dip and the trajectory onto the ball to go over to Speroni, over Speroni's head into that far corner, and called it luck. That's not luck. That was absolutely sensational.
No, well,
it's luck.
It's luck.
It's not luck.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
You'd have to have a few goes. It's 4 defeats in a row for Huddersfield, who welcome Brighton to the John Smith Stadium. These two teams were meeting for the first time in the top flight of English football. Commentary comes from Guy Mowbray.
Result. They played very well defensively, on the front foot, and in the offense we created a lot of good opportunities, and I think it was a deserved result.
We certainly didn't play at the level that we needed to play, but you give them a leg up when you concede the goals that we conceded, and particularly the first one. You know, we're guilty of that in our last game. You know, similar type goal. We knew the movements from the corner and then to concede from it is hugely disappointing. And what it does, it allows a good Huddersfield team playing at home to get into a rhythm, and then you know it's going to be a hard day.
We try and give the fans everything. You know, they're on a great journey as well as we are. We have to keep going. We have to make this place our fortress and make sure whoever comes in, it's a difficult night for them. And I think today we made Brighton feel like, you know, from start to finish they were never in the game. And listen, it's great 3 points, and that's a good win for us now on Tuesday for Chelsea.
We are totally realistic that if we like to get wins in the Premier League, we have to overperform. It's difficult, but not impossible. This is what the players have shown, not only today, I think over the whole season so far, and it's very good that they have a deserved win today.
Yeah, it's another vital win for Huddersfield, perhaps helped a little bit, Philip, by some inept defending. Chris Hughton referred to it himself.
Yeah, and it was from two crosses, a set piece like they conceded last week against Liverpool when Emre Can scored. This today, Schindler gets across the near post. Meunier finishes it so well, but if you just actually see it from behind the goal, Lewis Dunk is marking Meunier. He just pulls off the back of his shoulder. Lewis Dunk doesn't go with him. It's a brilliant flick on from the near post. Lewis Dunk gets caught ball watching, and Meunier puts it in. And the second goal, real poor mistake from the keeper, Matt Ryan. He makes the first cross by punching it away, which was really good. Then Moy puts the ball into a really good area, and when Jorgensen heads it down and Meunier heads it towards the goal, that is a simple catch, smother for Matt Ryan as it just bounces in front of his feet, and he lets it just go under his body, and it's a real simple goal. And it was a disappointing performance today, because I think Brighton have had a good start to the season, but the last couple of weeks they've just dropped off a little bit.
Off the ball a bit. Huddersfield 14 points from 8 home games, and that's going to be vital if they're going to stay in this league, to keep that form going.
Well, definitely. You know, they'd lost their last 4 games before today, and it was starting to look a little bit bleak. That home form is very important.
Yeah, the crowd's behind them, and they get their players. They do that after every victory.
The fans are unbelievable, and the players seem to deliver at home as well. They've won 3 of the last 4 home games. It's going to be so important for them, you know, going into the second half of the season.
You know, Brighton started the season well, a little bit like Huddersfield as well. They've just had a little dip. What's that? 2 points in the last 5 games, I think.
Yeah, I think these 3-game weeks are really difficult for them, you know, to recover. They got Spurs, they got Burnley this week. They've just got to dig in the December months, because they're really difficult months.
Okay. It's a Super Sunday worthy of the name this weekend.
True love travels on the gravel. Oh, true love travels on the
There is is commentary of the Manchester derby on 5 Live and the BBC Sport website at 4:30. Match of the day 2, extra previews, all the action on BBC 2 at 12:15. Look out for a midweek match of the day, Wednesday, BBC 1, 10:45. And don't forget you can catch up with all the weekend action on the iPlayer. And the NFL show follows us. They're live from Atlanta this week.
Into the 6-yard box. Oh, it's in! Great pass. McLaren to win it for Manchester United.
Here's Manchester United's Ryan Giggs. And into Ronaldo. What a moment this could be for Manchester United.
Giggs could play. No manager has used more players in the Premier League this season than Watford's Marco Silva. No manager has used fewer players than Burnley's Sean Dyche. These two teams sat 7th and 8th ahead of kick-off at Turf Moor, and Steve Wilson was...
It's the battle of the great overachievers.
Harsh this season, the referee, and made a big influence in all the match, because I'm sure, like we compete the second half with 10 against 11, like we had chance to make the 1-1. Imagine if you have it with 11, and it's fair. It's fair.
Very easy when a team goes down to 10 men, because then it's that strange fight that everyone thinks that you should win, and they're sometimes the most difficult.
Yeah, a good day for everybody, I think. Obviously on a personal level and a team level, we just want to keep momentum going. We had a stumble last week at Leicester, but I think we showed the character there in the second half that it wasn't going to be pretty at times, but we got the 3 points and everybody's smiling and laughing, so brilliant.
The one that's given for offside, I believe, it's double bumped off of someone. It's not trying to be played through to Barnes anyway, it's been played through to Wood. It was that many connections before it lands at Barnes and it goes in. I'm not sure I could even work out what the rule is on that, but they said it was offside. We had a couple of big decisions, which I didn't think went for us today, but overall it's another big 3 points for us.
Well, I think he had a point on the offside goal. What about the Ziegler red card, Phil? Arsh or arsh?
Yeah, I think it was arsh or arsh. No, I think, look, when you see it in real time, like the referee does see it, I don't think it's a red card. I really don't. I think he slides in. Yes, he does slide in with a little bit of aggression, but cleverly wins the first one. And it was a feisty game in the first half. In slow motion, it does look reckless, but
sliding on the ground, his feet aren't
sliding on the ground. It's not a red card for me. Look, tackling has still got to be a part of the game. Angle that makes it look bad. Yeah. The trailing leg comes in, studs up, but at real time and in the real play, I just don't think...
It's like the Pogba last week in a way, isn't it? It looks really bad in slow motion. In normal speed, it doesn't look that bad.
Not a red card.
But yeah, another red card. That's the table of red cards, really, isn't it? And it's since the start of last season as well. Yeah, Jermaine, terrific win for Burnley. In many ways, the goal that they scored epitomised a lot of their play this season, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose a lot of it goes under the radar. People expect Burnley to only play one way because they've usually got Wood or Vokes up top. But they've got some real, quality in their side. That's why they are where they are on the table. They're missing Robbie Brady and the creative element that he brings. But Goodmanson stepped up to the plate today, and when he puts back onto his left foot here, everyone's expecting this to get whipped towards the back post. Chris Wood header maybe, and that's why the Watford defence are very deep, but he's clever. He picks out the 2 on the edge of the box. Great feet from Arfield, sticks it into the back of the net. It's a very well thought out goal and a very good finish from Arfield, and on points with Spurs and Arsenal.
I mean, that's astonishing,
brilliant.
really. I mean, it's such a small squad. The players have not, they can't compete on that with the level of squad that they've got.
No, but you know what? I think they're playing better football this year than what they did for the previous 2 seasons. I think Sean Dyche is the manager this season. The way that he's improved Burnley, kept them up in that top half of the table, and they're a really good side.
Pep Guardiola might argue. We finish at the Liberty Stadium. Bottom of the table, Swansea were chasing a first win in 8 games. They faced a West Brom side still adjusting to life and a new boss, Alan Pardew. Making his debut for Match of the Day was Chris Wise.
From within the club, me, technical staff, players as well, that we've not been performing at a level that we know we're capable of. Scrappy game, can't say that we were fantastic today, but we did what was needed to be done, and that was to grind out a result. The timing of the goal with 10 minutes to go put us in a great position. We're very happy that we've got a victory, because it seems quite some time since we have.
Last week your side offered so much attacking threat, but we didn't quite see that again today. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, I don't know, I used every attacking player that I had. So, maybe a lack of confidence, maybe a lack of belief run. that they've been off, but not scoring goals. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say it wasn't the greatest game in the history of the Premier League. But Tammy Abraham started on the bench, came on, 76th minute, I think, and certainly seemed to change things.
Yeah, he did change the game because all of a sudden, Swansea had two up front. You know what Tammy Abraham was like? He's full of energy, full of quality. Him and Bonnie up front all of a sudden started to cause a problem for West Brom. This was when he was in the box. This was the goal. It rebounded to Wilfried Bonny. He stuck it away. That's his second goal.
They'll need him to score as well.
Yeah, they need him to score. They need to score more goals. They need to be creating more chances. And when you've got two centre forwards on the pitch with pace, with power, particularly like Tammy Abrahams, and this is an unbelievable opportunity. He does so well to get into this situation. You think to yourself now, what could he do or what should he do? I think he's got to go around the keeper there, but he's still only young. He's still learning. And the moments like that, he has to show more. Two centre forwards, Swansea posed a better threat.
Yeah, huge win though for Swansea. Paul Clement, they needed that.
It was massive. It really was. Things haven't been going well for them. They've not been performing well. What was it today? 3 shots on target. Even in the game today, that a win before today. It's just about grinding out the results and trying to turn that into some level of confidence.
Worrying for West Brom, no win in 14. I know it's early days for Pardew. No bounce either.
No, and he's played all his attacking players today. They didn't create many chances. It will take him time. Philosophy over, but they've got to start scoring goals.
Well, gents, thanks very much indeed. Before we go, let's have a look at the Premier League table. Third place Chelsea missed the chance to move level points with Manchester United, while Tottenham leapt above rivals Arsenal into 5th. However, 4 of the top 6 are yet to play. Burnley keep up the pace in the hunt for a European place, and Leicester City move into 8th. At the bottom, Crystal Palace slipped back to the foot of the table despite avoiding defeat, while Swansea City and West Ham both move up a place. Let's see what the Sunday papers have to say. David slays Goliath, announced after West Ham manager David Moyes masterminded a win over champions Chelsea. You can Conte us out, say the Sunday Express, as Chelsea boss Antonio Conte rules his side out of the title race. And the Mail on Sunday go with Prince Harry after Harry Kane scored his 50th goal of 2017. Well, that's it from us on the day. Arnautovic got Moyes off the marco. Good night.